Leave a like in the video. I'm not really going to give you anything, but you should still do it, so leave a like. What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new story, and today we have a perfect karma story. A perfect story of a spoiled kid getting owned by his teacher. It's one of those just really satisfying stories that'll leave you feeling like all is right in the world, man, after you're done watching it. So sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's just jump into the story. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted the story Sultan. That'll be the name we'll be using, and yeah, let's do it. Anyways, so there's a kid in Sultan's class who we're simply going to call the spoiled kid. And this kid was not only a kid who had access to a lot of money, which, I mean, he did, but just because you have access to a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean that you're like an entitled brat or a spoiled kid or anything like that. You could be genuinely a good person and just happen to have access to a lot of money. You can also be a poor, bad person. Like, you can be either or. However, way too often when a kid has access to too much money and knows other people don't, he kind of feels this sense of entitlement, or she feels this sense of entitlement of like, I earned this, even though, you know, as you get older, hopefully you learn that you didn't. So this spoiled kid was one of those kids who would wipe his butt with a $100 bill if he was given the opportunity, and then brag to everyone about how he wiped his butt with a $100 bill. Like, he was that type of spoiled kid. And he was also just a jerk to everyone. He was very entitled. He was very like, I deserve everything because I exist, therefore like I should have. And like, if I don't get what I want, then like something is wrong in the world. One of those types of kids. So anyways, just like starting off this story, we're starting it off with a bang because it is show and tell. And I don't know if you guys had show and tell. I had it like very briefly in third grade. Some kids had it like every single year through even high school, which is pretty crazy. But these kids were in sixth grade and they still had show and tell. I think the teacher just was like, I don't know what else to do. It's like, I see all my other teachers doing it, even though the teachers were like second grade teachers or whatever. So the kids were a little weirded out by it, but they're like, whatever, we'll do show and tell. And we're starting off with the spoiled kid who walks up to the front of the class to show off his item for show and tell. And like, for example, Sultan brought in one of his like, I don't know, one of his old, like 1980s vintage, like Superman comics or something. That was one of the things he was super interested in. One kid brought in like a football because like he was a big football guy and he was like, I don't really know what else to bring in. Like, it really was this, you brought in something kind of interesting, but you didn't do what the spoiled kid was about to do. So the spoiled kid comes into class and he walks up to the front and he takes a box. He has this like box in his hand, and it's kind of like a smaller box. It's like a square shaped box, so it's not a rectangular shoe box. It's a square shaped box. He opens it up, and inside is this shiny watch. It seems to be like one of those silver plated watches, but it definitely looks very expensive. However, you could have just left it at that. Like, the thing that makes it like, maybe, here's the thing, if you had a really expensive watch, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to bring it in and show it off for show and tell. However, the spoiled kid goes too far. Because when the spoiled kid's up there, he's like, hey guys, like, for my item of show and tell, I wanted to show you off this watch. I got this watch for my 13th birthday, which, bro, for my 13th birthday, I got a Star Wars action figure, which was fire, by the way. I was so happy. But this kid's like, yeah, in this watch, I want to play a little game with the class. And everyone in the class, including Sultan, were kind of looking at each other like, what does he mean he wants to play a game with the class? Like, what does he even mean by that, bro? Like, lol, okay, what? And he goes on to be like, yeah, so I'm going to take guesses. We're going to play higher or lower. We're going to play higher and lower, guessing how much this watch costs. Which, first of all, like, dude, if you're going to say it, just spit it out. Like, you don't have to drag this out. But also, if you're bringing in something and the whole point of the item is that it costs you a lot of money, like, that's like the lamest form of flexing I've ever seen. Like, I don't know, like, like, even just wearing it, like, leave it, like, everyone knows that this watch is probably expensive. They all know that you're the spoiled kid who gets whatever he wants. And yeah, the watch is probably expensive, man. So, I don't know, like, you just don't have to say it. But eventually, like, no one is raising their hands because no one wants to be like, oh, is it $5,000 just to boost the kid's ego? And he's like, no, more, ha, whatever. No one wants to boost this kid's ego because it's already boosted up to the moon and beyond. So eventually the spoiled kid's like, no guessers? You guys are completely like lost or whatever? He like mutters under his breath, figures. And he's like, well, let me just say that if you're going to guess anything under $1,000, you're wrong. Just pure silence. It was super cringe and uncomfortable because like, I know that this kid thought he was like the most, the coolest, Like, wow, this kid is so awesome. I wish I was like him. However, literally no one felt that way after hearing this. They just thought that he was like an entitled kid slash spoiled brat. And yeah, so he goes on to say, well, teacher, do you have any guesses? And the teacher can't just be like, isn't like kicking him off, but obviously isn't super happy with the way this is going. So he's like, no, I don't actually. And the spoiled kid's like, fine, I'll tell you, $10,000. And everyone kind of just looks at him. Obviously, that's a ton of money, and especially for a watch, that's a lot of money. But, you know, everyone's kind of just looking at him like, okay, dude, like, do you want a prize? Do you want an award for that? Do you want an award that someone bought you a $10,000 watch? Like, you're not getting my admiration or respect. So do you want, like, I don't know, do you want a trophy that says biggest flexer in the school or something? Yeah, so the kid just like is like, yep, and that's all I want to say. And he sits down, and yeah, that's just like, and that's that to start off the story with something like that just shows you a little glimpse of what this kid is like. But when he sits down, he doesn't sit back in the spot he was normally sitting. He sits next to this girl. This girl we're gonna call Kate, because I call like a third of the girls in my stories Kate, because it's easier for me to remember, because name of my friend back home. Anyways, so Sultan happened to have a crush on this girl, right? And he saw that like the spoiled kid, instead of sitting back in the seat he was just in, sat next to Kate instead. And he was talking up Kate, and, you know, to give credit where credit is due, the spoiled kid was low-key pretty good at flirting. He was actually cool with it. He was good with it. And I hate to give him credit because, like, no one wants to give the spoiled entitled kid credit, but I gotta be fair in these videos. Dude was definitely running it up. And Sultan saw this, right? Sultan said in the because by the way, the story was submitted to me via Instagram. Follow me and then DM me your own stories if you'd like. Sultan admitted to me that he was getting a little jealous. So the spoiled kid is like talking this girl up. And I think that like Kate was like pretty embarrassed for him after the whole, I have an expensive watch. But the thing is, this guy was just being so, I don't know, like he just had game that was unmatched. And I think she kind of just started to willingly forget what the spoiled kid just did. I think she was like, yeah, this kid isn't too bad looking, and also he's pretty smooth with it, so I'm just gonna forget the fact that he went up there flexing that someone bought him a $10,000 watch and kind of like drew the whole thing out like as long as possible to get the most attention, as well as the focus of the presentation was that the watch was expensive. I'm just gonna forget all about that. So yeah, Sultan had to watch for the next 20 minutes, and because by the way, other people were going up there, showing off whatever they had, and everyone else's presentations for show and tell were pretty normal, like they were pretty normal people presentations or whatever. However, the spoiled, and yeah, no one was showing off, oh, here's $1,000 gold brick I wiped my butt with. But yeah, the thing is, the spoiled kid wasn't showing any attention to these kids' presentations. He was just whispering/whisper flirting with the girl next to him, which was Kate. Unfortunately, this was Sultan's crush, so the next 20 minutes were super infuriating. Not just because some random guy was flirting with Sultan's crush, which it's always tough. Dude, I've been in that situation a lot, where you see someone else and you know that they're doing a good job, and they're basically just saying like, hey man, that's tough for you, but this girl's mine, man. I've been in that situation. It's unfortunate, but it's even worse when that person is the worst. Like, at least if it's a good guy, you're like, dang, I lost out. Like, I'm taking the L, but at least she's taking a W. The thing is, though, Sultan knows that this guy's the worst. So yeah, this was like the most excruciating 20 minutes of Sultan's life. However, things turn around for Sultan because, you know, he's talking with his friends, and his friends all know that, like, he has, like, a thing for Kate or whatever. And they're all, like, at the lunch table every day. They're like, did you talk to her, bro? Did you talk to her? Most of the days would be no, and they'd be like, dude, come on. But one of the days, he'd be like, yeah, like, we had a little conversation. They'd be like, let's go, let's freaking go. And they'd all, like, stand up in the lunch table and go, like, bum, 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 but, like, bang their table. It was cool. It was a fun time. But they also all knew about it. So when Sultan was explaining what happened, the guys were like, dang, bro, like, that's mad tough. Like, I hate to see that, like, especially with that kid. Because, like, this, even though those guys weren't in the class with Sultan, they just knew that that kid was the worst, just in general. However, when the kids was like, you know, actually, he's like, wait, I think I have something to say. And he said that, like, word was getting around, like, that everybody, after, like, some girl in the class saw that, like, Kate was talking with the spoiled kid, apparently, like, every single girl and like half the guys in the entire grade went up to Kate, because like word gets out really quickly. They go to a pretty small school and also middle school. If a guy talks to a girl or vice versa, then oh my God, they're dating, bro. Like that was a big deal back in the day, which is kind of crazy to look back on. And I'm like, dang, that's actually how it was back then. But anyways, word got out pretty quickly, and like literally everybody went up to Kate and they were like, dude, this kid's the worst. Don't give him the time of day. I know he's smooth with it, but trust me, he's terrible. And the nail in the coffin for the spoiled kid is when his ex-girlfriend, sure, they're like in 6th grade, so oh my God, 5th grade girlfriend, that's so serious. But anyways, when his ex-girlfriend goes up to Kate and is like, look, I know you might be thinking I'm just saying this because I want to get back with him, but I guarantee you I will never even talk to that kid again. And she goes on to list all the reasons why the relationship failed and why it was a terrible experience and why she shouldn't be anywhere near that kid because he's like the worst, most entitled, spoiled kid like ever. Yeah, so eventually Kate, just like the next day, Sultan goes into class and the spoiled kid sits right next down to Kate. And before, like, even though the spoiled kid was very, like, smooth with it and he had a lot of game or whatever, at this point, like, you know, Kate, like, the day before, Kate was at least responding with, like, complete sentences. She was, like, responding like a normal person. But today, for some reason, the spoiled kid was very confused because today she came in and she didn't say anything, dude. Like, she would be like, yep, okay, haha, whatever. Or just flat out ignore stuff sometimes. Like if the spoiled kid made like a joke under his breath, even if that joke was funny, like the day before she would laugh at everything. She'd even like overemphasize like how funny she thought it was, right? But today, she made it look like every joke bombed, bro. She made it look like this kid had a Netflix special that got 1 star or something, dude. But the spoiled kid was just really confused. However, the spoiled kid apparently really liked Kate. And this was not good for Kate. Because the spoiled kid would start to get a little bit desperate in his attempts. And by a little bit desperate, I mean you are about to see the most uncomfortable and cringe thing I've probably ever... okay, maybe not ever told on the channel. I've told a lot of stories that are pretty cringe, which if you guys are bored, feel free to check out the playlist of my stories linked in the pinned comment after this one. But yeah, you're about to hear one of the most uncomfortable things I've told on the story in a second, on the channel in a second, told on the story. Guys, I can't even speak English properly. I gotta take some more English classes. But yeah, the spoiled kid gets a little bit desperate for Kate's attention. Let's just put it like that. He gets a little bit desperate. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment spoiled down below. That'll be the secret keyword of the day. If you want to farm some hearts on the channel, I will try and heart a bunch of comments to say the secret word down below. And also, if you do want to support the channel, I mentioned this a second ago, but there is a playlist in the pinned comment down below. If you put that playlist on, it's all my old stories. If you put that playlist on while you're doing something like, I don't know, cleaning your room, playing video games, drawing, trying to go to sleep, whatever, right? It actually really does support the channel because watch time's really good. And please let me know in the comment section what you were doing while watching my videos. I read the comments all the time, and I'm genuinely so interested to hear what you guys are doing. And also, I try and hard and respond to those comments because it's my way of saying thank you for supporting the channel by watching the videos while doing other stuff. Let's get back to the story as the spoiled kid is about to do something pretty mega cringe. So let's get into it. Yeah. So a couple days later, and this is a couple days of, you know, the spoiled kid failing to flirt with Kate. At this point, every single day, Sultan, while he's not, he's not making his moves with Kate, so he can't really be too happy about it. However, he's sitting back, and he's watching the spoiled kid basically flailing his arms around in a sense, by the way that he's just like trying to talk to her and it's not working. But on Friday, they were supposed to do presentations on countries, because this was like, I don't know, a geography class. I think the last time I had a quote-unquote geography class was like legitimately in 6th grade. I haven't had geography class since 6th grade. But anyways, since they're in a geography class, they were each given a country to do a presentation on. It wasn't that deep. Like, this wasn't worth like 100,000% of their grade, and if they even like coughed in the wrong time, they would fail immediately and be kicked out of school and then have to literally live on the streets from that point on. It wasn't that deep. However, it still was a presentation that was worth like what a quiz would be worth, and you had to do it in front of the entire class. I guess, though, the spoiled kid decided that, you know, he was just going to take a 0 on this presentation because he decided that this presentation was a perfect opportunity to basically try and win Kate back, quote unquote, right? So he decided to do something very cringe and very uncomfortable because Sultan goes up there and he has a presentation on, I don't know, man, Libya, right? And he goes like, oh, the GDP of Libya is whatever. Here are some cultural things I found interesting. Here's like the history of it. Here's the current president, whatever, right? And he goes down and everyone's doing the exact same thing. And that's when the spoiled kid goes up there. And Sultan low-key thinks that in the presentation, the spoiled kid's gonna like accidentally include an image of the spoiled kid sitting on his bed covered in a pile of money and be like, oops, how did that get there? Right? But Sultan has no idea, is not prepared for what is about to come, right? He is simply not prepared for what is about to follow. So the spoiled kid goes up there and he starts the presentation. And immediately, everyone realizes that this will not be a normal presentation, and this will not be a normal day in geography class. Because the presentation starts not with a photo of a country, not with the name of the country. He was supposed to do Argentina, not with the name Argentina or a photo of Argentina or anything like that, or not even a blank like slide. Like, it's not like he messed up and he added a blank slide. On there says, reasons to date spoiled kid. And by the way, whenever I say spoiled kid, fill in a name in your head. It's just easier for me to say spoiled kid. Yeah, so anyways, he's like, reasons to date spoiled kid. Yeah, the presentation literally says, reasons to date spoiled kid. So everyone in the class starts like mumbling to each other. Some people are very shocked. And the teacher... Dude, I don't know why in all these situations the teachers always just let these things run on, but the teacher must have like not been paying attention, been spacing out because all the presentations were low-key kind of boring. I mean, it's just like the GDP of Japan is 100, like boo, boring, I don't care. And I think the teacher was spacing out because he was not paying, he did not stop this, right? And he's like, reasons to date spoiled kid. And goes to the next slide. It is literally a stock image of dollar bills, bro. It's a stack of money. And it says under there, you will be financially supported. Literally saying, I will be your sugar daddy, bro. That's legit what this kid was saying. And he was like, he says, all right, so as you can see in the first slide, and I think this kid was being very careful not to expose himself right away, because the teacher would have heard if he's like, reasons to date me. Number one, I'm rich. But he's like, everyone, so as you can see in the first slide, this is true. And everyone's like, bro, what? And Sultan's like, hey, yo, bro, like, what is going on right now? Like, this is legit crazy. Yeah, and then he goes to the next slide. And it literally says, super... Bro, it says super handsome. He announces himself as his reason number 2 is that he is self-proclaimed super handsome. And it's a photo of like, okay, I wish he put a photo of handsome Squidward in there, but it was just a photo of himself. I think it would be much funnier if he put a photo of handsome Squidward. That would be much funnier in my opinion. But yeah, it is. It's a photo of himself, and number 2 says like super handsome. And Sultan looks over, and Kate looks appalled, bro. Like I think Kate was like kind of just taking everyone else's word before when they're like, you can't date this guy, he's the worst. I think she was kind of a little disappointed, but like trusted, especially when, you know, his ex-girlfriend came up and said, yeah, this guy's the worst, that she's like, all right, fine. I think like she just had a look of like, oh, so this is why he sucks. Okay, that makes sense, actually. This right here, this makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah, and then he goes on to the next slide, and it's like, we'll pick you up in fat whip. And it's a photo of like, it's like a photo of like his dad's car or whatever. It's like one of those like nicer cars. Like, I don't know if it's a full on like Ferrari $3 million crazy car or something like that. But it's like one of those Porsche Mercedes type. It's like one of those cars that could run up for a lot of money, which is kind of dumb at a certain point. Like, if you like nice cars, you like nice cars. But dude, I kind of feel like at a certain point, you're just burning your cash. But whatever, right? He's like, we'll pick you up in nice whip or whatever. And then the next slide is the worst one. Because the next slide, he's no longer talking about himself. No. He is no longer talking about himself. He now says, so, ... And everyone's like, where is this going? It's like dot, dot, dot. And this is when the teacher starts to pay attention. And he's kind of like, what? Like, what is this presentation? Because he must have been spacing out for the I'm so rich, I'm so handsome, and I have a nice car part of the presentation. Because he definitely would have stepped in and been like, hey, bro, this doesn't look like Argentina at all. But it just says so dot, dot, dot. Kind of like the next thing is going to be crazy. So the teacher's like, is it like a GDP reveal? Is it a commentary on the internal conflicts in the southern region of the whatever, right? It's like, I don't know what this reveal is going to be. And we click to the next slide. It is the worst thing ever. Because it says, like, Kate, these reasons are great. You should go on a date with me. It's fate. It's like a poem, bro. He asked Kate out via poem. It's crazy, right? So everyone in class is like, lol. Everyone bursts out laughing. Like, it is not the reaction I bet that the spoiled kid thought. I bet when the spoiled kid was typing this up, in his mind, he was expecting everyone to be like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. You are so rich, handsome, and have an awesome car and a nice watch and are just so hot. So, of course, Kate would want to go out with you, dude. Oh my God. It was like, I wonder who this guy wants to go out with. He wants to go out with Kate. I'm so jealous. No. And then all the guys would be like, oh my God, how could Kate say no? He's so rich, handsome, and awesome. Oh my God. Yeah, let's just say that how it turned out was a little bit different. Everyone was just freaking out. Like, kids were getting out of their seats and running around with, like, you know, the hands on their head. You know that gif of, like, the guy who, like, leans back after roasting someone and all the people freak out around them? Just imagine but with the class. Like, even Sultan stood up out of his seat, put his hands on his head, is like, oh my God, starts walking back. He's a friend of the back of the room who just, like, falls out of his chair laughing. Everyone's like, what the frick, bro? Like, what is this dude doing, dude? And at this point, the teacher's like, spoiled kid, like, this has nothing to do with Argentina. And some people in the class are probably thinking, dude, you just caught on that this doesn't have to do anything with Argentina? Did you not realize that the first 3 slides were like, I'm rich, I'm handsome, and I have the coolest car ever? Because, yeah, that totally has to do something with Argentina, bro. But everyone's freaking out. You know, Sultan's on the floor laughing. He's slamming his hand against the desk, like, oh my God, bro. Like, this is... And at this point, like, Kate is just, like, looking at the ground. She's like, I'm not here. This is not happening. Why me? Like, I shouldn't have even talked to this kid. It makes total sense why everyone was like, stay away. This kid's a freak. He's the worst. It makes sense now. I should have listened earlier. All that stuff like that. At this point, the teacher realizes what's going on. And he's like, spoiled kid, this has nothing to do with, I don't know, like, the presentation. Like, this is a distraction to the class. Like, you're distracting everyone. And you're, like, making weird comments about classmates in regards to the weird poem on stage or on the screen saying, like, oh, can you go out with me, Kate? It's our fate, bro. Like, first of all, he should have been expelled for cringe, but I don't think that's actually a thing you can get expelled for. But if it is, or if it was, he definitely would have been. So you might be thinking that this is, like, the end of the story and that it doesn't get crazier. And you might be thinking, Connor, why did you title this, like, teacher rages or exposes or embarrasses or whatever, spoiled kid? Let me just say that this isn't the end for the teacher ranting on the spoiled kid. The teacher, very soon, is about to do a massive dunk on the spoiled kid in front of everyone. Probably something that he's been wanting to do for a while, but has been held back, right? So yeah, the spoiled kid is sent to the front office. He gets yelled at. He gets a 0 on the presentation, whatever. Other than that, he doesn't get much more of a punishment. So the spoiled kid, give this a couple days, right? He's no longer sitting next to Kate because he kind of realizes at this point, he kind of did the Hail Mary, which wasn't even a Hail Mary because those at least have a chance, even if it's unlikely. He did the good old shotgun to the face maneuver, which doesn't really work that well in battle. It doesn't really destroy the opponents that well. It's a little detrimental to yourself, I've heard. But yeah, this is when he learns the truth, according to him, right? So word gets out because, like, Sultan's sitting at the table and one of his boys comes up and is like, dude, the spoiled kid is super mad at everyone. And, Sultan's like, why? Is he mad because we didn't bow down to him when he showed off his like $2 billion house or something? And he's like, no, apparently the spoiled kid was like told that like everybody went up to Kate and told her that they shouldn't mess with him, right? And he's super mad and is like planning to like get his revenge or something. So Sultan's like, what? Like, what does that even mean? And he's like, I don't know. Apparently he's going to like expose everyone or something. So Sultan's like, okay, that's pretty weird. Like, first of all, does this kid actually think that us saying, hey man, be careful is really what made Kate not want to get with him at the end of the day? Like, does he not believe that his presentation saying that he's super rich, handsome, awesome, and drives fast cars and Kate should go out with him, which he delivered via a poem, do you really think that that didn't have any effect on the fact that him and Kate aren't currently dating at this very second in this universe, in this timeline? Like, do you really think that that is like the reason why? Do you think that that has any effect? And no. No effect at all. In fact, that probably helped his chances. But the fact that Sultan said bad words about him means that he doesn't have a chance with her anymore. Or at least that was the logic. However, the spoiled kid didn't think that one person, like he didn't think Sultan or one of Sultan's friends individually said, like, don't, like, told Kate not to get with them. The spoiled kid thinks that literally everyone in his class is like against him. So he's going to expose quote unquote everybody, which is just kind of ridiculous. But Sultan is kind of excited to see it because he's like, all right, bet, let's see it. So after class, or the next day comes around and Sultan walks into class and he sits down and the spoiled kid's late. So he's like, oh, maybe the spoiled kid's skipping class because he can't handle the fact that Kate's in here and he couldn't secure the bag. But no, the spoiled kid walks in 2 minutes late to class, and the geography teacher's like, spoiled kid, like, you can't be late to class like this, like, go sit down, like, it's a distraction when you're late. And the spoiled kid says, no, today I need your attention. He stands up in front of the class, and the geography teacher's like, what? He's like, no, you're sitting down, and the spoiled kid's like, silence! And the geography teacher literally goes silent from shock because he would have never expected one of his students to yell silence at him. Like, that's the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard. But the spoiled kid goes on to say, it is all your fault. It is your fault. Sounding like Nico Cotto Avocado for a second. He's like, it's your fault, and points to everyone. You guys were bad-mouthing me to Kate, saying that I'm not a good guy, when all I am is very good, handsome, and rich. The reason why that this girl, points to Kate, embarrassing her again, which, bro, that's not chill. Not chill at all. But he's like, the reason why she won't go out with me is because you guys tricked her into thinking that I'm the worst. Everyone's kind of looking at each other. Sultan is like trying to hold back his laughter because he's like, bro's digging his own grave. That's crazy. But yeah, he's like, you guys are the reason why she doesn't like me. You guys are the reason why we aren't dating right now. And Kate's like literally has her head in her arms. Like, can this kid stop, bro? He's embarrassing not just me, which he is embarrassing me. He's also playing himself with this whole thing, dude. Like, he's got to stop. Someone's got to stop this kid. But, yeah, no, and he keeps on going on to be like, yeah, and the reason why she doesn't like me is you guys. You all told her I suck when I don't. And, bro, that's when the history teacher comes in and drops a nuclear bomb. Nuclear bomb. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Not nuclear, it's nuclear. My grandmother loves telling me, like, nope, wrong, because I'm always like, nuclear. She's like, nuclear, which I might as well pronounce it correctly. But he goes on, drops a bomb. He stands up and he's like, that's not why she said no, spoiled kid. And the spoiled kid turns around to look at the teacher. It's almost as if in one of those action movies where, like, the bad guy thinks that, like, he's, like, shot down or killed, like, the good guy or whatever. And then the good guy gets back up with, like, a massive machine gun and is like, oh, like you thought, like, you killed me or whatever. And then he comes back. Kind of like the same energy. Everyone in the class was low-key stunned because they were not expecting the teacher to come with such fire. The teacher goes on to say, the reason why that she's rejecting you is because you're an entitled, spoiled brat who thinks that just because, like, that he can get anything that he wants and he can be a jerk and disrespect anyone. The whole class goes silent, but this isn't your typical silence. This is your, damn, someone just got roasted silence. And just like, everyone's attention, every ounce of their attention was on this teacher. Because this teacher was just going in, bro. He was going in. He's like, every day you come in with some kind of entitled arrogance. When we had show and tell, you didn't bring something that you cared about. You brought something that was expensive just because it was expensive. When you went up there to do your presentation, like, and you didn't even do the subject matter that we're covering, you just covered yourself because you wanted to ask a girl out. And what was the qualities that you portrayed up there? You didn't say that you were kind, funny, or smart. You said that you were rich and handsome. Which the first thing is because you're a father and mother, and the second thing is questionable. Boom! God damn! I'm gonna have to pull a fire alarm in here, bro, because that was too fire. That's too toasted, dude. I'm gonna catch on fire just being in proximity to these burns. But yeah, a spoiled kid literally looks so destroyed. And the teacher ends it off by saying, like, might as well sit down now and cut your losses. And instead of trying to fight back, the spoiled kid at this point knew that, yeah, man, he might as well sit down and just try and cut his losses, because he was not going to be able to recover from this one. So as soon as class got out, word spread of this like wildfire. Spread like fire, even hotter than the burns that were given to the spoiled kid, right? Sultan rushes to his lunch table with his friend, and they're all just like screaming about it. The whole lunchroom is abuzz like this. And if you don't want this to happen to you, leave a like. I'm just kidding. No, you should leave a like. But if you don't want this to happen to you, just be a good person who doesn't let things like money, or maybe if you're just like a good looking kid or whatever, you just got good genetics, you rolled well, or if you got like money, or if you're really smart, or if you're the star lacrosse, hockey, football, whatever player, if you don't let this stuff go to your head and you're a genuine good person, then this stuff will never happen to you. We're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Ryan. So anyways, there's a kid in Ryan's class who we're going to call the spoiled kid. And Ryan was in 6th grade. However, Ryan was almost done with 6th grade at this point. He had about a week left. And the spoiled kid decided that, or his parents at least decided that they wanted to throw a party at their house on a Saturday where all the kids could come over and all the parents could come over as well, as kind of to say like congrats on like getting through the 6th grade. It was a celebration, right? And at this point, Ryan and all of his friends kind of knew that the spoiled kid was, a spoiled kid, right? Kid was kind of a jerk, and kid was kind of a jerk because he was rich. That's just kind of how it goes. Not just because you're rich means you're a jerk. A lot of kids that have a lot of money, right, they're actually really good people. They don't let it change the way that they act. But you definitely know that one kid who's just super entitled and acts that way simply because he has the funds that he didn't earn. Like, even if he earned them, don't let that go to your head. But, bro, he didn't even earn the stuff that makes him go to that kind of inflates his ego. But anyways, Ryan and his friends were still kind of excited to go to a party with all their friends because they were thinking, like, first of all, the spoiled kid's house is probably pretty nice, and spoiler, they were 100% right about that. But also, like, they were going to a party with all their friends, and there's probably going to be fun things and maybe Nerf guns and a pool. So yeah, how bad could it possibly be? Let me just say that they had no idea how bad it was about to be. So yeah, I guess spoiler, it was bad. But anyways, Ryan and his parents show up, and they pull up to the directions, and, Ryan has never actually been to the spoiled kid's house. He expected it to be a nice house, right? He knew this kid's parents had a lot of money because the spoiled kid would never stop talking about it. But when they show up to the house, Ryan is completely flabbergasted that people live in houses like this. They had to drive to like 20 minutes away from him to like the gated community or whatever. This guy had like 4 floors to his house. He had a massive backyard. Bro had like a massive car garage. He had the coolest pool ever. And Ryan is walking in with his mom, and his mom turns to him and says, don't get any ideas here. Basically saying, like, what you see here is unlike anything you'll have in the real world. So chill out for a second. I'm just trying to provide for you, bro. Anyways, they get inside, and, the spoiled kid's mom was like, welcome, come on in. And you see all the parents kind of standing around talking with each other. They got their little plate of appetizers or whatever. And the spoiled kid's mom says, oh, all your classmates, all your buddies are upstairs in the spoiled kid's room. So Ryan, walks up the stairs, and he goes towards, he kind of goes in the direction of all the noise, as he's assuming that's where all the other kids are. I mean, he was right, but He walks in and he opens the door of what he can only assume is the spoiled kid's room. And sure enough, he sees the spoiled kid sitting on his bed, and all the other kids in his grade are kind of like surrounding him. They're kind of standing around as this guy is giving a talk. And the spoiled kid's like, "Oh, Ryan, good to see you. Like, take a seat or whatever." And Ryan kind of like stands where all the other kids are. And the spoiled kid's like, "Oh, where did I leave off?" So yes, as you see over here, you can look into my closet. "Hey, Gerald, open the closet." And this guy named Gerald's like, "All right." He opens up the closet, opens it up to show all these like really fancy clothes and shoes. And the spoiled kid starts pointing, "That I got in Spain. That I got, on my 12th birthday. That, I paid $1,000 for. I mean, I had to mow the lawn twice for that, guys. Can you believe it?" And like Ryan looked at his friends. He's like, "Wait, for $1,000 you mowed your lawn twice? You got $500 for every time you mowed the lawn? Bro, I'm lucky if I get $5 if I mow the lawn. Nevertheless, anything, bro." Like my mom, like Ryan's like, my mom's just like, "Do it, bro. I'm giving you a bed. I'm giving you food. I'm driving you around. I'm nice to you. You better mow this lawn, bro." But yeah, anyways, it's kind of more of that. The spoiled kid was kind of just going on about like, "Oh, I have this, I have that, I have this, I have that, flex, flex," kind of just continuing on like that. It was getting kind of boring, right? And that's when, the spoiled kid's like, "Oh, well, let me show you guys around back." And Ryan was kind of excited because like in the Evite or whatever, it said we have a pool, we have Nerf guns, like the kids will have a lot of fun. So Ryan was getting excited because a pool and Nerf guns, like, dude, that's going to be a good time. Like, genuinely now, me and my friends are trying to set up a Nerf gun fight somewhere. Because I don't care how old you get, that stuff is so fun, dude. I used to love doing that as a kid. I actually had a Nerf gun birthday party once. It was pretty cool. Like, I walked around and, like, some of my friends were, like, my bodyguards or whatever since I was the birthday guy. And there would be, like, one assassin friend trying to get... It was fire, bro, I swear. Anyways, though, so they walk outside. And the spoiled kid is like showing them around, and there is a pile of Nerf guns, but instead of walking towards the pile of Nerf guns, the spoiled kid draws them away somewhere else. And Ryan's kind of thinking, "Oh, I guess we're just going to like get a tour first, and then we'll go to the Nerf guns." And the spoiled kid is bringing them towards this shed. And, I don't know, Ryan's kind of just like, "Why are we going towards this shed, dude? Like, I don't know why we're going to a shed. Like, you're going to show me your gardening tools? Are you going to show me your rake collection? You're going to show me your bag of leaves that you collect or someone else collected? You definitely didn't collect them." But they get there. The spoiled kid opens up the garage door. Is like, "Witness the glory." So the spoiled kid opens up the garage door, and sure enough, there are 4 cars in there. And these aren't like the cars in the garage. These aren't the cars that his parents normally drive around. These are like the extra special cars. It's like the sports cars, the really fancy cars, the ones that like collectors would try and get. And like, at this point, the spoiled kid was going around to each and every single one of the cars and saying what was super special, what was super awesome, what was unique and interesting about each of the cars. And I don't know, all the kids kind of didn't care. Like, maybe there was one of the kids who was more of a car person than the other one. But for the most part, man, I mean, these kids were just trying to, like, they were just trying to play Nerf guns, dude. They were just trying to go to the pool. And this is where the spoiled kid, this is where he commits his first, like, spaghetti-o moment. I don't know why I called, making fun of someone poor, not spaghetti-o moment, but anyways, the spoiled kid's like, "Hey, guys, come with me. Like, I want to check something out." So after, like, Ryan and his friends are so bored of, like, listening to him flex about his parents' cars, he's like, "Finally, maybe we'll go to the pool. Maybe we'll play Nerf guns." But the spoiled kid seems to be walking towards their cars parked on the side of the road. And the spoiled kid is like, "I'm going to give you, like, a rating of all your cars." And Ryan is, like, starts looking to his friends because he already knows this is kind of sus, bro. This is a little weird. Yeah, so sure enough, the spoiled kid brings him down, and he's like, "All right, well, look at this car over here." He says the brand, like the name or whatever. He says the year and the model, or at least what he guesses it to be. He's like, "This right here, this is a real junker. This is a beater car. This car sucks. Is this like your 4th car that you just got for fun because you like crappy cars?" And some kid is like, "No, Like, that's my family's car. Bro, like, and here's the thing, right? Unfortunately, this kid's, like, in a situation where his parents are kind of strapped for cash, and they have to all share one car. So first of all, just the fact that this kid, like, his parents were, like, cool with letting him or letting his mom drive him take the only family car to spend some time at the spoiled kid's house, that's a pretty big deal, man. But for this, not just for that, even if, I don't know, even if this kid had all the cars in the world or something, just to go out of your way to make fun of someone's car because it is, like, not as fancy as yours, just to make fun of someone's socioeconomic status, is just a low blow in general, man. So yeah, sure enough, Ryan kind of turns to his friend and he's like, this isn't cool, right? His friend's like, yeah, no, this is really messed up. And they're watching as the spoiled kid doesn't take any social cues and continues to be like, well, you guys should really consider getting a newer car that sucks a little bit less. I would consider the insert name of, like, $40,000 car or whatever. And, the kid, who we'll just call Dave, right? Dave's like, man, I don't think you get it. Like, we can't just buy whatever we want for a car. Like, this is the only car we could afford. And the spoiled kid looks at him and says, oh, well, that's unfortunate. And then the spoiled kid literally just goes on to berating the next person's car. So for the next 5 minutes, the spoiled kid walks from car to car, basically calling everyone else poor. And there was even one car that was low-key kind of nice, right? But he was like, oh, this isn't the new one. It sucks. It's like, oh, yeah, bro, you only spent $15,000 on this car. You're broke AF, bro. $15,000 on a car is crazy. But anyways, right, the spoiled kid was used to spending $1 billion per car. Yeah, I spent about $1 quintillion per car. I spend the entire GDP of Canada on this whip, and I don't even drive it that often. Whatever. Yeah, so, yeah, at this point, everyone is getting pretty annoyed. They were all kind of looking at each other. And thankfully, right, one of the moms came out and signaled that it was time to, food was out. So they all went back inside. So Ryan kind of, tailed off with one of his friends while they got some food. And they kind of went to the corner of the room and they started talking. And Ryan's like this guy kind of sucks. Like, I knew he wasn't cool before, but, that's kind of a low blow what he did to all of us. And, yeah, and then, Ryan's friend said, yeah, especially Dave. We all know his parents are going through it right now. One of Dave's parents, got laid off recently, and they were already in a sticky situation in the first place. So for the spoiled kid to go out of his way and be like, your car sucks, it's for broke people, take this L or whatever, was just really a low blow. So after the party, because everyone eventually goes home, they never actually ended up playing Nerf guns. So yeah, Ryan was pretty upset. Not just at the fact that they weren't able to play Nerf guns, by the way, but also the way that him and his friends were treated while at the spoiled kid's house. So yeah, anyways, they kind of make a big group chat, or Ryan... No, let me step back for a second. Ryan is in the car, and he's on his phone, and that's when he gets an invite to a big group chat on iMessage, right? And he checks all the recipients, and it's literally everyone in his class besides the spoiled kid. And basically, he receives a text message from Dave, the kid who's going through a bit of a tougher financial situation and was roasted by the spoiled kid for it. And Dave sends a kind of a big long text message saying, what the spoiled kid did to me and all of you guys today was unacceptable. This is ridiculous. The guy invites us to our house, not so that, he can host us and we can celebrate graduating the 6th grade or whatever, but instead to show off all that he has and to make fun of us for what we do not. We need to get revenge somehow. So all the other kids were putting in agreeing, they were all agreeing or whatever. And then one of the kids was like, what do you mean by revenge? And they decided that they had to somehow pull a big prank on this guy. Yeah, instead of getting adults involved or whatever, I guess all the kids were like, nah, we're handling this on our own hands. The court of justice is us. Because of course, mob justice is always the best way to go. That can never go wrong. But anyways, they come up with a plan. And the plan is really crazy. The plan is really out there. However, they decide to go with it. And it's really only a plan that a bunch of 6th graders would ever come up with and try. However, it went down pretty well. So let me tell you what the plan was, right? And cue the action movie music in the background. So anyways, the plan was that for the entire week, they're going to talk about how on the last day, right, the last day of school, the school is having, or their grade is having a very special day. Very similar to Halloween, where you dress up as a costume and come in. The very last day is Clown Day, and it's to celebrate the life, and it's like a memorial for a very famous clown that used to live in their city and used to go to their school. So everyone in the grade on the last day of school is going to dress up in full clown makeup to basically commemorate his life. However, that is a complete lie, but they wanted the spoiled kid to believe it. So on the very last day of school, when everyone came in normally, just excited for the last day activities, the spoiled kid would come in a full clown suit. So for the next rest of the week, the kids would basically put up posters, whatever, and they would when the spoiled kid was because they they went crazy, bro. These kids went crazy. They figured out everything. They mapped out this kid's classes. So right before the spoiled kid got out of class, they would put up Clown Day posters on the wall. And as soon as he walked by, they would take them down. He would be sitting around with them and they would start talking about Clown Day celebrations, what they were going to wear. And after about a week of doing this and with everybody involved, they got him convinced. So on that Friday, nobody knew if he was actually going to come in the clown outfit because that was low-key a bit of a stretch. They're I don't know, he's definitely going to either not do it because he doesn't feel like it, or maybe he's going to tell his mom and she's going to say it's BS. Honestly, don't even know. However, the moment of truth finally came. So they're Ryan and his friends are kind of standing around the lockers, right before first period. So they got about 5 minutes and the doors open up and the spoiled kid, he walks in full clown gear. He has the red nose. He has everything on. And they got him. They got him good. If you made it this far into the video, comment clown down below. Don't comment spoiled. Comment clown. That'll be the secret word of the day. And also, if you want to support the channel, the best way you can do so is just to continue watch older videos after this one. A really easy way to do that is to watch my Storytime playlist that has all my videos. Just put it on the background while you're doing something else. The playlist is the first link in the description. Let me know in the comment section if you're going to do that down below so that I can say thank you for supporting the channel. Anyways, let's get back to it because the spoiled kid's mom is about to do something pretty crazy. Anyways, the spoiled kid gets into school, and very quickly he realizes that he's been duped. Nobody else is in the clown outfit. All these kids are staring at him, and immediately he goes up to one of the kids and is like, "Why aren't you guys in your Clown Day costumes?" And they look at him, they're like, "What are you talking about, bro?" And he's like, "Wait. You guys were talking about your Clown Day outfits. You all were talking about your Clown Day outfits. And what about those posters I saw on the wall? Where are they? You guys all told me that it was Clown Day, that we're going to come dressed up as clowns." And they all looked at him. And every kid he was talking to had a little bit of a smirk. And eventually, the spoiled kid put 2 and 2 together. And he was so angry. So immediately, he goes in the bathroom, takes off his clown makeup. Bro came in full clown gear, bro. He was cosplaying as himself, IRL, dude. Yeah, but anyways, he walks into the bathroom, takes off his clown makeup, but he can't call his mom because his mom's at work or whatever. So he has to go throughout the rest of the day in the big poofy clown pants and the clown shirt. Oh, man, it was a fantastic practical joke. 1 week into summer. So, Ryan and his friends are just sitting around, enjoying the sun, having a good time, just having a good time on break. Most of the kids would start going off to camp or going on a trip with their parents or, I don't know, maybe start mowing lawns or whatever. But that's not going to happen for another week. The first couple weeks of summer, they all kind of had free and they were all going to hang out together. So Ryan was enjoying a nice summer day. He wakes up late because he went to bed late because he was on call with the boys playing some Minecraft or Fortnite or something or Roblox. He was having a fire night. He wakes up late, excited to go downstairs, grab a thing of cereal, walk back upstairs, hop back into bed while he's eating cereal because it's breakfast in bed because it's summer, baby. He can do what he wants. Watching some YouTube videos, maybe some Pugs videos. Subscribe if you haven't already. But no, not today. Instead, he wakes up, wakes up late, excited to go downstairs to get a bowl of cereal, but instead he is confronted by his mother, looking very angry. And the spoiled kid, Ryan is like immediately confused. It's like he hasn't done anything recently. There would be like no reason for her to be mad. So Ryan kind of looks at his mother and he's kind of like, what's up? Because it's very clear she was upset. And she's like, I got this message on Facebook today. And she turns it around and shows it to Ryan. And Ryan is trying to read it as quickly as possible to figure out what on earth his mom is so upset about. And he sees the profile, and the profile pic is very clearly the spoiled kid's mom. And it's a long message about how her son, as well as a bunch of other kids, came together to play a mean, evil prank on her son right after they hosted like a party for them, after they very nicely offered up their house, that all these devilish children decided to embarrass her son and humiliate him in front of everyone. And their son had to go to has suffered extreme emotional distress and therefore has just been sitting inside playing video games all day. And immediately Ryan in his head, he's like, bro, he does that anyways. This kid is fibbing. But anyways, the spoiled kid's mom didn't see it like that. She goes on to say that, she demands that all the kids come together in 48 hours or less, come together, make a formal apology, and deliver it to both, her and her son at their house. And if they don't do that, she will be putting together a team of lawyers to sue each of the children individually for causing emotional damage to her son. Period. End of message. Ryan was just like, hey, yo, is this April 1st? Because I think I'm being pranked right now. And her mom, and Ryan's mom immediately starts to go into him. How could you pull a prank on this kid who seems so nice? He offered up his house to you, and this is what you do a week later. What has gotten into you? That I was good friends with that mom too, or we were beginning to be friends. She seems super nice, but she's just trying to be nice there for her son. I expect you to make this apology immediately, and until you do, no more video games. Going on and on and on. Ryan's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. You very clearly only heard one side to the story. Ryan's mom's like, all right, I'm listening, because I think she probably did believe there was probably a bit more to this than just her son decided to be evil for no good reason. And her son goes on to explain everything that happened and goes into good detail about how the spoiled kid is actually a really bad kid, and how he was berating all of them and belittling all of them, and especially going extra hard on, Dave, the kid in Ryan's class who has been going through financial issues for a while, but even so, very recently, one of his parents just got laid off. And after Ryan went through talking about everything that happened, you could see immediately that Ryan's mom's face just definitely melted a little bit. The kind of icy cold, you're gonna pay for this type look, turn into a look of oh wow, there's more to, once again, just kind of proving that there's always two sides to a story. And before you jump to conclusions, man, it's just a good idea to just pay it, just hear them out, right? It's always a good idea to listen. Yeah, so anyways, Ryan's mom's like, wow, well, I don't know if I necessarily endorse what you did, as it was a little crazy of you guys to do so. But I definitely don't feel I don't feel it's as necessary you guys make an apology. Then she goes on to say, well, I am a little afraid, since that family has a lot of money, that they will legitimately try and bring us to court or whatever. And that would be, unfortunate, because even if their court case doesn't go through, or it's denied or whatever, it would still cost us some money that we don't have to try and defend ourselves. And, at this point, Ryan's like, but isn't it kind of crazy she's going to sue kids? And that's when Ryan's mom thinks about it for a second and says, yeah, this is crazy. So Ryan's mom's like, wait a minute. I know that, the spoiled kid's mom is on the Parents Association of, South Park, Illinois. Let's pretend that's the city that they live in. I doubt that's actually the city that they live in, but just in case it is, then oops. But anyways, she's on the Parents League of our city. And I don't think that the president of the Parents League would be so happy to know that she's threatening to sue other kids, to sue other kids that live in the town. I think that would be grounds for her to be kicked out. So immediately, right, Ryan's like, all right, well, you should go contact the other parents and make sure that they know what happened. So kind of similar to all the kids making a group chat after the spoiled kid was like a jerk to them. Ryan's mom makes a group chat with all the kids' parents after the spoiled kid's mom threatened to sue their children, right? She goes on to explain the story from Ryan's perspective, just in case any of their children haven't gone around to telling them yet. And then also followed it up by saying, I don't think we should do an apology, and if you're worried about like her suing our children, I think I got a plan. So all the parents reply saying, yeah, like this is ridiculous. I've never heard of suing children for being a little mean or playing a prank on someone before. And some of the dads were chiming in, yeah, I used to do that all the time of the day, or all the time back in the day or whatever. And they're like, okay, well, what's your plan to like basically get her to not sue us, because I'm not trying to go through that headache, especially over the summer. So Ryan's mom explains that, they're all going to come together and they're going to tell, the spoiled kid's mom, no, we're not going to do it. And then they're going to tell her that, she better not, she better not like try and sue any of their children. First of all, that's ridiculous. But second of all, if she does decide to make the mistake and decide to sue some of their children, that, Ryan's mom or the moms collectively may or may not accidentally send a private message to the head of the Parents Association of the town that they live in with a screenshot showing her threatening to sue their children. And so they come together, they send the message, and sure enough, the spoiled kid's mom backs down. She is like screaming at them in the DMs, like, you caused my son emotional damage, whatever, yada, yada, yada. It is totally fine for me to sue. Like, I can use the legal system to enforce the laws and make sure that this is a good, like, civilization or whatever. However, she did say that she was not, she said, because you guys are blackmailing me, I will drop the legal charges or whatever. Which, that's kind of crazy that, they're blackmailing her. I mean, maybe. No, barely, dude. She's threatening to sue their children. All they're saying is that they would just let the head of the Parents Association know about her trying to sue their children, bro. Oh, that's all I'm saying. So yeah, after that point on, Ryan had a pretty great summer. And the next year around, the spoiled kid did not attend their elementary school. He, in fact, or their middle school, I guess. He was moved to a private school that was like 30 minutes away. And who knows why? Maybe because he alienated himself from everyone there because he was a massive jerk. Moral of the story, don't
click
be
on
a
the
jerk,
video on
guys.
screen right
Bye.
now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.
Today, we got a story time of a spoiled kid who thinks that he is above the law. This kid is so entitled that he believes that the law only applies to the poor peasants and doesn't apply to him because he is the king. He finds out that this is not the true. It's epic karma. I know you'll enjoy it. So sit back, relax, subscribe if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Clarence. So anyways, this all happened one day over the summer. So Clarence was a little bit newer to the neighborhood. He got there about a year, 6 months ago. So he was new, but he wasn't super new. So Clarence was part of this friend group with a lot of other guys, and it was a really big friend group. So they were all in 8th grade, and one thing that they liked to do was they liked to, go to the movie theater, go to the mall, and just kind of like hang out around town or whatever. And in this really large friend group, there were some people that, Clarence really liked. His best friend in this group we're going to call Ben. But there's also a kid in this group called the spoiled kid. The reason why the spoiled kid was in this friend group was literally just because everyone else there, including the spoiled kid, just have known each other for so long. So when they were little, kindergartners, man, it's really hard to tell who's the spoiled kid, who's the bad kid, whatever. So they're all just kind of hung out for the longest time together. And here's the thing, right? Because they've known each other for so long, it would have just felt weird for them to kick the kid out of the group. And they just didn't feel like that they were justified in kicking the kid out of the group. And I don't know, I think that people kind of knew this kid was a spoiled kid. But when you know someone for so long that you kind of just get over their downsides and you just kind of chill with them anyways, this is exactly what happened here. And at least for Clarence, since he didn't know the spoiled kid for literally all of his life practically, when he entered the group, he was like, dang, all these guys are chill, but who's this kid, bro? The spoiled kid is acting real weird. But anyways, right? So this story all happened one summer night. Or one summer day, I should say, not summer night. So this all happened one summer day. So anyways, right, on this summer day, all the boys were chilling together because, they live really close to each other, which is really nice. I mean, the friend group almost lived exactly in a row. I think there was like a few houses in between them. But, when they'd all wake up on a summer day, after eating breakfast, they'd all like go into like the park that was literally just across from them. And there was these like benches and they would just sit down waiting for everyone to get there. And every single day they'd kind of have like a little team meeting or whatever, decide, okay, what are we going to do today? And so they're sitting there, and Clarence, Ben, everyone in the spoiled kids sit down. And they decide eventually that, all right, we're going to go to the mall today. Like, we've done it a little bit, like quite a few times, but also there's not a lot else we can do. Anything else that'd be fun, we kind of have to plan ahead or it's closed. So let's just go back to the mall. So they decide to go to the mall. The mall's about like a 10-minute walk, so they don't have to wait or not worry, but they don't have to like wait on their parents to drive them and find a time to pick them up. And their parents were really cool about them kind of like going wherever they wanted to, as long as it was walking distance away and as long as they all stuck together as a group. I don't think the parents would have been cool. For example, Clarence's parents were like, hey man, like we don't want you going out doing stuff all by yourself. But if you're with your group of boys, you can literally go out and do whatever you want, man. We don't really care. It's like totally up to you. We're chilling, right? So anyways, they decide to go to the mall. And remember, the spoiled kid was always told that, like, I don't know, he just had this, like, era of entitlement. He kind of believed that he was, like, almost above everyone else, bro. Like, even his friends, even his boys. Like, Clarence was picking up on it more than the other people, because I think the other people were kind of just always giving this guy the benefit of the doubt. Like, because, I don't know, when you've, like, lived with someone for so long, you're just so embracing their humanity. I don't know, I just feel like you know them so well that, like, oh, that's just what Ben does, or this is what Jamie does. And it's like, hey, yo, no, bro, he's actually the worst. But anyway, since Clarence isn't one of those people who has been with this guy for so long, he sees all the flaws, he sees all the downsides, and he's kind of picked up on this kind of air of entitlement and this air of kind of superiority. Like Clarence almost has a feeling that the spoiled kid actually believes that he is better than everyone else. Like that he actually is hanging out with the peasants and like actually believes that he's royalty. Because, yeah, he comes from a family who has a little bit more money than the average family. And the thing is, I say this every single time, like, you can come from a family who has more money than other families. And that's kind of just like the RNG luck that you spawned into a family that has more money. Like, hey, man, sometimes that isn't, like, you can't really control that. But what you can control is how you act. Like, you can just have access to a lot of money and also kind of just realize that, that doesn't make you a better person than anyone else. But also, you can have access to a lot of money and, like, for example, like the spoiled kid, and have it go absolutely to your head. And you believe, well, actually, I am royalty and everyone else is a lesser than me. I don't know how else to say it, but everyone else is less than me. I am better than everyone else, and that is that. And that is final. Yeah, so the spoiled kid, unfortunately, was more like the latter and believed that. And all of his friends, including Ben, didn't really realize that. But Clarence, the subscriber, as he was kind of new to the friend group, kind of caught wind of this a little bit more. So today, the spoiled kid must have been extra cocky because he believed that he was above the law. So they went into the mall, and they're kind of just wandering around, trying to figure out what they want to do. And there's this one store that they happen to go into quite often. It's kind of like a variety store. It has clothing. It has like little quirky item type things. Like it has a whole mix of different stuff. I don't know the exact store name, but I think you guys probably know what I'm talking about. Some kind of stores like that. You probably have something similar to that near you. So anyways, they're heading in, and what they normally do is, this is probably a little annoying to the store. This is probably a little bit annoying to the people who, run the store or whatever. However, a lot of times they just go in, and since most of them don't have credit cards or wallets or If they have money, it's like $5 from grandma for your birthday and nothing else. So most of the time they just go in, play with everything, sometimes break things and they'll be like, oops, and then leave, right? But today, I think the spoiled kid just truly did believe that he was better than everyone else and also above the law, as you will see, as you shall see, I should say. So they're in there, and anyways, Clarence and Ben being the closer one of the two, or Ben being Clarence's closest friend out of the group, they're just chilling. I think they're just looking at shirts, and they're like, dang, this shirt's cool. Goes to the next shirt, dang, this shirt's cool, with no intention to buy it, because, like, I don't know, man. Like, grandma's $5 bill is not going to spread through all these shirts. They're trying to save it up for the new video game, right? So anyways, they're all chilling, and that's when, the spoiled kid comes up to the both of them and is like, boys, do you want that shirt? And they're like, yeah, like we think it's really cool. And I don't know, they don't really think the spoiled kid's going to do anything at this point. They're just like, he didn't bring any money also. And the spoiled kid's like, watch this. And he literally takes the shirt and puts it under his shirt, like tries to hide it under his shirt. So at this point, right, Clarence and Ben are kind of just looking at the spoiled kid like, bro, what are you doing? He's like, actually, the law, I was doing a little investigation, and I think it only applies to the lower classes. I think I am exempt from the law, so I will just be taking this from the establishment. And don't worry, guys. Pick anything you want, and it will be yours. So here's the thing. Clarence definitely knows that this is a load of BS, but Ben and all of his friends are like, wait, actually? Which Clarence is like, bro, no. Not actually. You can't just take something because your dad has more money than another guy. Like, bro, what are you saying right now? But anyways, apparently that's ignored, and all the other kids are like, oh my God, like, really? We can get whatever we want? Like, this is the best day ever. And yeah, so Clarence is kind of like, oh God, like, guys, stop. We're going to get in trouble. And the spoiled kid's like, Clarence. How naive you are. What a silly little boy. I knew you were super naive when you joined the group. I just didn't want to say anything. Clarence, here's something you need to learn about life. It's just so ironic, bro, when some like 7th graders trying to teach some other 7th grader about life. It's like, hey, yo, how about you live some life first, bro? That's all I'm trying to say. But anyways, Clarence is like, okay. He's like, yes, Clarence, let me teach you a little something about life. So some of us are in different classes. For example, royalty and the peasants are really the two classes. And, well, you wouldn't be able to get away with this because, you're in the... How do I put this nicely without coming off as elitist or something? You're definitely a peasant, and I am a king, a.k.a. royalty. Or I should say I'm a prince. I will be a king one day. It's just kind of how it goes. I was watching some TV, and I had like the medieval whatever kings, peasants, and it kind of just looked like the kings could do whatever they wanted. I saw a king walk over to one of those little medieval peasant shops, and he took what he wanted, and they were grateful, man. They were grateful that the king would even step foot. So, I mean, that's kind of how it works. Look, guys, whatever you want, it's on me. So Clarence is looking at them like, guys, you can't seriously be buying this. Yeah, but unfortunately, all of Clarence's friends were totally buying it. They were all like, dude, like, he's saying he can do it. Just let us get the stuff. I think, honestly, Clarence's friends, including Ben, I think was a little bit more reserved, but he was like, hey, man, let me at least try. I think all of Clarence's friends were old enough to kind of realize what he was saying was, or not Clarence, yeah, what the spoiled kid was saying was kind of like not true. However, I think a lot of them were just like so clouded by the fact that, their friend is claiming that he can just get them what they want. Like, he can just get them what they want and, like, they don't have to pay any money for it. And remember, these kids have no money, so they always go to the mall every single weekend just to look at stuff that they can't actually get. And I guess, like, they're kind of like, for once, like, we can actually get the stuff that we're looking at. But Clarence knew a little bit better than this and is trying to, like, convince them, like, guys, we're going to, like, it's not going to work. We're going to get in big trouble. Our parents are never going to let us go to the mall again. This is shoplifting. Like, we can't be doing this. And all the friends are like, Clarence, bud, like, trust spoiled kid. We've known him for so long. He would never do us dirty, bro. He does his research. And Clarence is like, dude, did you not hear? His research was literally just him watching TV. And also, you don't think that guy's actually a king, do you? And they're looking at him and they're like, just wait. I think he'll pull something off. And Clarence is like, pull what off? What do you even mean? What? So, yeah. Spoiled Kid actually thinks he's a king. King is going to be the secret word of the day. So if you made it this far into the video, comment king down below. And while you're down in the comment section, check the pinned comment as there's a link to the Spotify account. And basically, these stories are uploaded as podcasts on Spotify, so make sure to listen to it on there if you'd like to. And also, check out the 2 channels I've linked in the pinned comment. There's my other 2 channels. Please subscribe, and let's get right back to it. Also, if you're listening on Spotify, please rate the podcast 5 stars. I appreciate it. Peace. Anyways, let's get back to it. So, sure enough, Clarence is like, dude, this is not going to go well. Like, this is not going to go well. And he's, like, trying to, like, almost distance himself because eventually, Everyone gets what they want. And the spoiled kid looks so freaking goofy right now because he has like 6 shirts stuffed under his shirt. He has like a bunch of random crap shoved into his pockets. He has like a baseball bat up his sleeve. Like, it is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. Sure, like, definitely people who shoplift, like, what they'll do is they'll try and maybe pick something small and hide it. And guys, disclaimer, never shoplift. Like, never do it. Trust me. Like, it's a really bad idea. I've never done it. I don't say trust me because I've done it. I've never done it, but look, it's like if you're shoplifting like a $5 thing, like you could get in a lot of trouble and it's not worth $5, bro. Trust me. Just don't take the thing at all. You don't really need it, bro. But anyways, right? So at this point, Clarence looks at the spoiled kid and is like, you can't be serious right now, right? Like, that's not actually how he plans to leave the establishment. Wait, that's actually how he plans to leave the establishment. Clarence was just so shocked that this kid was actually going to try and walk out of the store looking the way he did. Remember, he's like 16 shirts shoved under his shirt. He has like a bunch of stuff in his pants. He's like a baseball bat up his sleeve. He basically is just carrying a bunch of stuff out. Like, he's not even trying to hide it at this point, bro. He's literally just trying to walk out of the establishment with all that stuff. It's not going to work. And yeah, spoiler alert, Clarence was 100% right. So the spoiled kid's like, all right, guys, follow behind me. Follow the king. And everyone was kind of like, okay, like, I don't know if this... Okay, so I feel like when he was actually trying to walk out the establishment, everyone else was like looking at the spoiled kid, looking how ridiculous he was. And then I feel like the whole they get free stuff that was like clouding their judgment kind of like started to dissipate. And they started to realize that reality is not going to allow this to happen. Because they really noticed this because as they're approaching the door, right, they watched some guy behind the cash register stare them down, like just look at them intensely. And I think some of the kids in line were starting to become a little bit antsy and a little bit nervous and probably second guessing themselves because they're like, spoiled kid, are you sure about this? And he's like, yeah, guys, like, chill the freak out, bro. I've done my research. And at this point, Clarence is like, okay. And, like, Clarence very begrudgingly, like, follows behind them. Clarence really should have just been like, guys, I'm going to meet you out there in a second and just let them get caught and be separate from the group. But, yeah, the spoiled kid walks right past the cash register and starts to make it towards the door when obviously, like, you know, if you have something in a lot of stores, they'll put tags on items and they'll have, like, one of those little devices at the door that will start ringing if the tags are still on. So yeah, immediately you hear meh, 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 meh. And it's like not even like, oh, like, is there anything hidden on you? Like, obviously the people in the store walk over and they see the spoiled kid decked out head to toe, stuffed in every freaking crevice and pocket full of their merchandise that has obviously not been paid for. And they're just like, so like some guy comes up to them and is like, oh, okay, guys, I need you to follow me. And they're all petrified at this point. And like the spoiled kid's like, but I'm allowed to do this. And the guy's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm a king, bro. What? And the guy's like, dude, like, what do you, no, what? Like, I think the guy was like genuinely just completely thrown off guard because normally when you catch someone shoplifting, they're either going to completely deny it, be like, oh my God, how did this item get in my pocket? I obviously didn't put it there. The item must have, I don't know, fallen off of the shelf and just randomly fell into my pocket. OMG, what a coincidence. Oh, there's another item in my other pocket? Wow, this must be like the rarest probability case ever because another item must have fallen out of that shelf and into my other pocket. Wow, so crazy. Or they'll just accept it and be like, okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, I'll just accept the punishment. But he's never heard someone be like, well, actually, I can steal from your store because I'm a king. So the worker kind of just looks at them because he's normally like, there's a procedure, like if you find someone shoplifting, you go to the local mall cop, whatever, and then you hand them off to them and they figure out what they want to do. And then they meet up with the manager of the store later, whatever, right? But they've never had to deal with royalty before. I'm just kidding, guys. So sure enough, the guy's like, okay, that's cool. You still need to come with me. And I think the spoiled kid, like part of him knew that like what he was saying was completely fake. But I think another part of him was kind of hoping that like it would somehow work. Like he would just say, I'm a king. And somehow the guy would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. You're totally fine. Take all that stuff. Take my purse as well, or wallet. Take my shoes. And also, can I get an autograph, sir? Like, I think that was like a part of the spoiled kid was really hoping that that's how it was going to go down. And spoiler alert, that is not how it went down. So yeah, the spoiled kid, Ben, Clarence, and everyone else in the group they're being escorted to the mall cop, which is like a few stores down, and everyone is like freaking out. They're just like, oh my God, oh my God. So eventually they get to the mall cop, and the mall cop looks at them and is like, okay, I'll take it from here. And so sure enough, the mall cop's like, gentlemen, what on earth are we doing? What are we doing? What's going on? And the spoiled kid's like, oh, they made me do this. I didn't want to do any of this, and they said they would be mean to me if I didn't put all this stuff into my shirt. And then another guy's like, the what? Like, what are you saying? Like, bro, you said that, like, since you were royalty, aka a king, that you could literally take whatever you wanted and ask if we wanted anything. So when we asked for something, you put it under your shirt. The spoiled kid's like, he's lying. He made me do this. Officer, arrest them and save me. And Clarence is like, in Clarence's head, he knows that this is going to be a very bad thing. Like, he knows it's not a net positive that they got caught or whatever. However, part of Clarence is like a little happy because he's like, okay, finally, the spoiled kid's true colors are actually being exposed. So the mall cop looks at them and it's like, boys, look, I'm not going to arrest you or anything. I'm not going to like fine you. I'm not going to do anything crazy. You're obviously all very young. But what you got to know is you can't just be going into stores and taking stuff. Like, you just can't be doing that. And look, maybe if the other officer was on duty, you guys would have gotten some actual punishment. So just realize that you're all very lucky. Look, I'm going to talk to the store manager. There's a chance you guys are not going to be allowed back in there, and I want you to know that. However, you guys are free to go for now, but just never do this ever again. And if I see you guys in here again for something like that, there will be no mercy. And they're all like, thank you, sir. Like, I appreciate it. Like, thank you. You're the greatest. I love you. Bye. Bye, Mom. And then they all like get out there and they leave. And they're all walking out in like complete silence. Because here's the thing, bro. The spoiled kid literally just threw them all under the bus. And Clarence has known for the longest, in Clarence's head, he's just screaming, told ya, bro, told ya. What have I been telling you? This is what I've been saying. Told ya. Like, he's like, bro, I've told you for the longest time, dude. This kid is the worst. But I think at this point, everyone else is starting to realize and truly realized that this kid was not a good kid, that he was truly a spoiled kid, right? Because like before, his shenanigans would always kind of like rub them the wrong way, but they were never like thrown under the bus. And this is really serious. Like, they had no idea what the punishment for stealing was. For all they knew, the punishment was literally the electric chair. Like, for all they knew at this point. But what they did know was that the spoiled kid told the cops that he didn't want to do this and it was all their fault, which is just simply not true. Like, sure, they went along with it, so they have a little bit of fault, but it was literally the spoiled kid's idea, and he said, guys, I can do this. Choose whatever you want. It's on me. Obviously not their fault, and the spoiled kid is definitely not in the right on this. So, so they go home, and they don't tell any of their moms about this, because they just have a feeling that that would not end well. You know what I mean? But the next day, they all go out to, like, where they normally sit at the park benches, and, let's just say that they were all pretty mad at the spoiled kid. And, for the rest of that summer, they all kind of hung out together. But after that fateful day, like, people would always be like, oh, I'm actually busy. Oh, I'm actually doing things. And what actually would be happening would be, like, I don't know, Ben and Clarence would, like, go off and do something together. Or, like, the group fragmented basically all away from the spoiled kid. So it turned into a bunch of little groups that would meet on their own. Basically just without the spoiled kid. And you guys might be thinking, oh, well, that's a little bit mean. But bro, the spoiled kid literally tried to turn them into the police for something that he did. Like, I get it. You got to drop that kid. He's the worst.